We need a scene of us dancing on the tables in the staircase, like in the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I know y'all couldn't see me dancing, but I was dancing along to it. I need to get a VTube model. That's what I need.
I can just take that clip.
You could come to our dance parties.
I can take that clip from Breakfast Club and just paste our faces over the
Oh yeah,
that'd be pretty funny.
I'll just use your little circle with the arrows on it. I'll just use that on one of the faces. You know,
that is what I'm probably best known for on this.
And the boob, you have to put the boobs in.
Oh yeah, and the boobs. just put me on one of the ladies in Breakfast Club.
I'll just put you. I'll put you.
You can be Molly Ringwald. Yeah, or Ali Sheedy. You either one. Which one do you? I was definitely.
I cannot remember their names to save my life.
Ali Sheedy was the gothy
the princessy one or the like.
Oh, I'm the goth. I'm a goth.
Me too. We're gonna have to fight over that one. You could put me over the nerd too. That's or even the bad boy. Judd. What's his name? Judd Hurst.
I am a nerd, but you could.
Judd Nelson, and the nerd was what was it? Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah. And Emilio Estevez. Who's his brother?
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm just being informed of a rare Elon Musk W.
Okay.
Hang on, let me figure out what this is.
Breaking news. We're just getting in some breaking news from the wire right now.
Yeah, we break news here now.
Breaking news coming in right now. We're going right now to Lib on the scene. He's gonna.
The Vesuvian Challenge is holding contests to create new techniques to lower the cost. Okay. So Elon Musk is okay, hang on. I'm trying to figure out how this is connected to Musk because I'm okay.
Let's go, Eunice.
The Musk Foundation is providing the funding for what's called the Vesuvius Challenge. The Vesuvius Challenge is basically we discovered in the ancient Roman city of Heracnalium a villa owned by the father-in-law of Julius Caesar that was destroyed in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. The library of the villa was buried, and the scrolls inside were carbonized.
This is the breaking news.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though. I think it's cool.
Elon Musk, the Musk Foundation is funding this year's Vesuvius Challenge. Vesuvius Challenge basically uses like AI and other technology, machine learning to let us understand the contents of them because this is like ancient text. Like we don't have a lot of ancient texts that survive, not originals like this. And so if we could figure out all of these.
You got me. We don't break news here. Sorry, I got overexcited. False alarm.
It's really cool.
I think it's really cool. I love.
It's cool, but it's not breaking news. It's not.
It's more of I was more thinking it's like rare drama news because this is Elon Musk doing a good thing because his Musk Foundation donated
and not being the cartoon villain that people on the left think he is.
Yeah.
Cackling in his lair. I see.
Yeah. For what it's worth, this wasn't like Musk
even though neurodivergent people should know better.
Yeah. Now, for what it's worth, it wasn't Musk. Like this wasn't like Musk saying it in a tweet. This was like the Elon Musk Foundation did this. However, he probably knew they were doing this. I'm surprised he wasn't tweeting out about it because this is
on Twitter, the site you don't use.
No. Well, no. I'm saying no. This is information from the Musk Foundation.
Oh, okay. That you found it on Twitter? It came across
not from Twitter. No. One of my friends found out about this.
I always read archaeology shit. I think archaeology news is always fascinating to me. No matter how small or tiny it is, I'm always like I want to hear more.
Well, that's because we're nerds and geeks, but like some of our audience may not be. So I have to find that balance between
right
audience need and our need to geek out when we need to.
Geek out.
Or
I mean, I think geeking out is kind of a big part of, I think, my charm. So I feel like if they don't like it,
well, like I said, it's finding that balance, because
Yeah.
a show with just the two of you geeking out is not going to
That's true.
get the
That's
same
true.
audience response that a show with a lot of variety in it will.
Yeah, unless I'm geeking out about like politics or something.
Yeah, which I mean, you've done plenty of by now.
I have.
That's all.
Oh, I'm so bored of politics.
I'm not bored of politics, but I hate them.
It's just politics is just people, like it's individuals interacting on the planet together. It's intersubjective group dynamics. All like jockeying our needs and wants and trying to get as many of them met as we can.
I'm just bored of American politics right now. I'm bored of the various debates. Like it's the same. It's been the same thing. Like every single news show that I've watched.
See, I don't even watch all that, so that's probably why I'm immune to it. I don't even watch it to get bored of it.
I mean, I haven't been watching lately because every time I try to every time I check out counterpoints not counterpoints.
I like counterpoints.
Rising or
Breaking Points. That's their new show.
Yeah. Breaking Points or Rising or any of those. Every time I watch any of those things or anything like that, it's the same thing over and over again. It's Brianna Joy Gray talking about Israeli genocide, and then it's talking about, and they're like biovulating about like Biden's too old and stuff like that. Everybody knows it. It's just like everyone's.
But Trump's not any young. Like they're both old. Like whatever criticism you can say about Biden's age, you can say the same thing about Trump.
I completely agree. That's why I'm saying it's just like I get so tired of hearing about it. I'm just like, I mean, come on. It's just like.
But it's an election year. What do you think people are going to talk? Like, what realistically do you expect the conversation to be about?
I don't expect it to be anything else. It's just that I still wish it was.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot going on this year because it's an election year. There's Israel, Palestine, Ukraine is in its third fucking year. AI is like doing insane shit.
AI is the thing to keep an eye on. I think their trajectory is going to like take up through this year from now to the end of the year.
Well, I think it's going to suffer a number of setbacks. I think they're going to. I think this year, this one, they're going to actually start to see
bottlenecks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to stop the rapid development and acceleration of AI.
No, I know. I agree. And it's going to cause. I think it's going to cause a lot of damage.
I think the AI is going to keep getting better at what it's good at, and it's going to keep getting worse at what it's bad at.
But what it's bad at is not the AI itself; it's the people that program the filter.
I mean, like there's certain things that AI is not equipped to do. There's certain things that AI is not equipped to do that people expect it to be able to do, and that's what I'm talking about.
But I'm saying all that kind of stuff that's what's going to get better. Like the text and images and all that. That's not even going to be an issue like by the end of the year.
It's not even that stuff that I'm talking about. I mean, I'm talking about at some point. I mean, like it really works great if a creative person is interacting with the AI and feeding it, detailed ideas and stuff like that, and it really does help you to organize that stuff. It is not great at actually coming up with ideas itself or anything like that. It's actual suggestions when it comes to actual. I mean, I thought to myself just a little while ago before the stream, I was like, I bet I could ask the AI to help me do a search for used cars in the area or something like that. And the only thing I could do was do a search and be like, yeah, sure, why don't you try these dealerships? It's just like, it's limited on what it can actually. Its limitations are.
Yeah, but that's all the kind of stuff that can improve. Like from now, but by the end of the year, all of that could be. So the kind of stuff you're talking about is the kind of stuff I'm saying is going to get exponentially better by the end of the year. Like it has limitations now that are going to be exceeded very rapidly in the areas you're talking about.
What would they need,
including like the AI people and stuff, like fake AI guests and all that? I expect to have like a full AI panel by the end of the year.
And
what did you say, Lib?
I was gonna say, like, what do you think are the like major roadblocks that they need to like? What would the potential solutions for those things even be? Like,
I don't know. That's text.
yeah,
That's
okay.
like how to get AI to generate text on an image better is way
Yeah.
outside of my interest or but it like that's for the tech people to figure out. But I'm saying they're going to figure that out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So all these little things because AI is like in its infancy. So all these little things that people see that, well, AI is not good at this and good at that. That's because it's only gotten started. And give it a year, and it's going to be better at it than anything you've seen. So those kind of criticisms I put in a different category than like ethical or like dangers of AI type stuff.
Okay. Do
Yeah,
you are you aware of the, I guess, like ethical and dangers arguments? Have
Not
you?
really, because I don't know what we can do much about that. Once we hand things over to the AI and it kind of takes on a life of its own, I don't even know at that point if we're going to be. I don't pay attention to that because I don't know what the solution to any of it is in the first place, and it's not going to stop AI from developing. Like we're not going to put AI on hold while we figure those things out.
No, I'm not saying like put it on hold, but I'm saying
So
like
AI is going to
would
do whatever it's going to do, and I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to have limited ability to. So it seems like an abstract problem that doesn't map onto anything real world
no, I
related to
mean,
AI. That I can
I'm more saying like since we do know that it's going to cause that things are going to happen because of AI, we're gonna potentially run into a lot of
That
these
no,
problems.
I did not say that. That's not a bad assumption, but that's not anything I said. I
No,
said
okay,
that
sorry.
the
Rather, if
technology itself is going to improve, but
yeah,
just like with VR, people may
yeah,
decide they're still not interested in using it.
yeah. Well, VR has
So just
there are
because
some.
it perfects itself, I'm not
So
making the assumption that therefore people are going to use it and therefore it's going to have this particular effect.
I don't
I'm
think
just
VR is
saying that
the
the
best
the
example because like
capabilities of it for people who want to use it will be vastly improved.
VR is not the best example because like with VR, there's a literal like
Did you understand my point with VR though? About using, even if it's not a perfect example, about like a technology that people just didn't adopt
yeah,
regardless.
but I don't think AI is going to be that kind of
Because I don't want to
technology.
get us on a sidetrack because that's
No,
not the
I
main road
agree.
we were
No,
going
no, no,
down.
no. Yeah, no, you're right. Okay.
So I'm trying to clear that one out.
My point is, I'm not sure I agree because I don't think that AI is the kind of thing that people will just be like, guess we just won't use, or like will like use at the same
There's
degree that people
plenty
use
of people
VR.
not using it, even right now, despite all the things you can do with it.
Okay, but like,
And my
it,
only point, because I was trying to keep the discussion straight, not get it more tangled, was that I was strictly speaking about the like performance potential of the app, what it is capable of doing. Chris is rattling off things it doesn't do well, and I'm saying it will be able to do those things very quickly. So that's the part of AI I
yes,
was talking about. That the
yes.
only reason I even
Okay,
brought that up was to distinguish the technical improvements from the type
okay,
of stuff you're talking about.
okay.
I don't
Fair.
know. I mean, like, okay, for example, they have been for like at least 15 years now trying to get the self-driving car thing like off the ground, right? And they
Well, there's a
still
whole
was,
host. The reasons for the self-driving car thing is more like real world than like software issues.
yeah, I know. I'm saying that
It's more that there's too
in the
many.
real
Yeah.
world, it's just like it's not.
So are you saying
I
because they
don't.
can't get self-driving car, they're not going to be able to get AI? It's the same
No, I'm
exact.
well. I mean that's a
He's
form of
making a
AI. So
comparison.
the self-driving car is a form of
I
AI.
don't see the comparison between a self-driving car and the ability to improve AI.
They're both
Because we
AI.
obviously are improving AI. We're not
Yeah.
running into kind of the road, whatever roadblock they're running into over the self-driving car. We're obviously not running into that with AI because it's improving constantly all the time. We're just at
Yeah,
the
I mean,
very early stage, just like with dial-up internet, and then eventually we got landline and wireless and all that.
are you familiar with Moore's law?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Um, it's been a few years now since like but
The number of transistors in a circuit doubles every 2 years.
Yeah.
yeah, and like that Moore's law dead now. Like Moore's law is no longer valid because like they started reaching a bottleneck of how many transistors they actually can. They can't. They are no longer doubling every 2 years. They're no doubling even every 5 years. They're finding ways to make the transistors that they're more efficient. They're finding new ways to improve processors and stuff. But like honestly, the processors that have come out in the last, at least for CPUs, like the CPU processors we've had that come out in the last, like say, slightly before the pandemic to now, even though like we've had like there's been a steady stream of them, like because they haven't actually improved in the same degree that they were for years and years and years. It was always like they were like massive leaps every couple of years. And AI is new, so like we're going to see these great leaps for a while, but eventually it will hit a bottleneck point where, because like I'm sorry,
Yeah,
AI
but
will
we're not at that bottleneck point.
Yeah.
We're at the very initial beginning. We're not at the we're not even close to the bottleneck point yet.
I'm just saying that we're not. I don't think we're going to be seeing. I don't believe that AI is ever going to become self-aware truly.
Well,
I wasn't.
I don't.
I wasn't
yeah,
having
I
that
don't.
conversation at all.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
thought I was
that
being
wasn't
very.
even
I was talking about
the
very practical,
degree of
technical
technological
capabilities of
development.
AI,
Yeah.
like what it is
Okay,
able to
my
do.
bad.
What is it? I am not taking it into woo region at all. Like that was
Yeah.
never what I was trying to do.
I mean, that's not considered woo-woo region though. Like that's actually the stated goal of a lot of AI
Let's
engineers.
just change the topic because I feel like whatever point I was trying to make with this conversation is being lost. Or it's not
Hey,
going
no,
where
I
I
actually
need it to
I got
go.
your
So
point, Jeff. By the way,
I'm just
I get
getting
your point too.
frustrated.
I actually do agree. I thought I misunderstood
Because
what
I
you said
think people
about it.
can't talk about AI with sensationalizing. I think they want to. It's very hard to talk about AI in very practical terms because there's something about AI that they want to sensationalize about it, either as a danger or as this miraculous like savior of us or whatever. And I'm just trying to have a like very practical, technical conversation about what AI can do now, what it's going to eventually be able to do, and all of these like not supernatural, but elements from a different level of discourse keep making their way into this conversation.
That's fair.
Okay, sorry. I apologize. I wasn't trying to do that.
No, I
just
mean,
like I just know that that's what everyone keeps being dramatic and freaking out about. They're like, AI is going to become self-aware. It's going to become too dangerous, like things like that. I don't see that happening. I am actually an AI. I'm actually positive on AI. I do think AI is going to actually create a lot of improvements for a lot of people's lives. I don't think that it's going to be a negative thing ultimately. I think it could be used for bad. I think it can. There's a lot of bad things that can be used for, deep faking, stuff like that. But I don't see that as being like something that we all need to be like freaking out about, because they're as at the same time that these things are being created, they're also doing a great job of creating tools to spot fakes and stuff like that. Even though our human eyes can't, but like there's programs and stuff that can test the images and tell that it's actually. So I think that I see a positive future for AI.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, we
What's
don't
that?
know what consciousness. I was thinking about the other
No, I was
the
just
other
making
day
a joke.
that's probably the most fascinating thing in the universe to me is consciousness. Because we don't it's so mysterious. Nobody knows what it is.
Yeah. Like we can point at things and say like that's not consciousness or like that is a conscious thing, but we don't really defining it is more difficult.
Yeah. And even like whatever framework you take, because I take like a naturalistic secular framework and it's an emergent property, the physical. But whatever framework you take, like there's no framework really where you can say definitively what consciousness is.
Yeah, I mean there's theories of consciousness, but we really don't have a solid handle on it, that's for sure. We can definitely say that there's definitely a
Which
difference
is one of the
between
reasons why I don't think AI will. It's not. It's a misnomer. It's not conscious, and I don't think it really has that much of the potential to become conscious. Like maybe it does, but
even
given what
self-awareness.
we
even self-awareness
Yeah.
isn't consciousness, you know.
Yeah, no,
Even
you
what?
self-awareness isn't consciousness.
Well,
Even
that's what I was.
self-awareness
That's
isn't
what I was wondering. If consciousness,
Consciousness is more than
it,
self-awareness.
like if
It does
conscious.
require
Wait,
self-awareness.
let me work this out, please. If
Sure.
consciousness is, if in order to be consciousness, it has to be able to be aware of itself that it is conscious. Like, can
Yeah.
you have consciousness that's not also aware that it's conscious?
I don't think so.
Like the self-reflexiveness is a property of consciousness, that without it, it's something other than consciousness.
It's a good question. I
I don't have
can't
the
say.
answer. I was just
I don't either. I don't either. Yeah. I don't have
that
the answer.
question came to me the other day.
It's a good question. I don't actually have the answer for it. So.
But
Yes,
it's not here, Frank. Here's the thing. Yeah, it's invisible. It's definitely not non-existent because we experience it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's something we experience, but we can't see, touch, quantify, measure anything. But it has an experiential reality to it and a phenomenological reality to it, and that's what makes it so mysterious. We can't what we like. I guess like gravity was. You experienced it, but they had no idea what it was. Like,
And they
until
couldn't
they figured out what
quantify
it
it, and now
was.
we can quantify gravity.
And consciousness is like that to me. It's an obvious thing, but what is it? And I don't even know if science is going, if that's something science is going to ever be able to answer, if it moves it beyond the realm of science.
I don't think it will, because I don't think we'll be able to ever quantify consciousness. I think this will be just a realm for philosophers. Just because if we have, I guess I don't want to say like because we haven't found it today, we haven't found any evidence of a consciousness, like a quantifying a consciousness today, that we'll never be able to. But like, I don't know. I feel like we've quantified quite a bit of our physical reality. I think we've gotten pretty good at it. And so if there were something like as massive as a consciousness that we just missed being able to quantify, that would be pretty far out. I think it's probably more likely that consciousness just will never be quantified.
Frank, come up, and this is a good topic. Come up and talk about it. So are you not even sure it's real? Do you doubt your own consciousness?
If nothing was really nothing, it would not be
I'm
there.
definitely conscious of you. So even
Depends on how
if
much
your consciousness is not real, you're in mine.
Depends on how much I had to drink that day, really. Oh, you know, it's a joke. Sorry.
Facts, though. I'm trying to figure out his previous comment. If nothing was really nothing, it would not be there to have a description. And
right.
I don't know if that's the case.
That was my point. Like, he's saying, like, we don't even know if it exists or if it's a thing. Well, it's something.
Yeah, I would say it's
not
something,
nothing.
Because it has an effect on reality. Yeah. It has an effect that we can.
I don't think we're going to discover that it's nothing.
Yeah. We might discover that it's like.
Or because it's not gonna be in my lifetime probably, but whenever that if it even happens, if it's something that science could even discover, maybe it is metaphysical. Well, it's technically metaphysical, but maybe it is. I guess metaphysical in the supernatural sense.
I guess the only thing that it might be like physically is if it was something that was happening at like the subatomic level.
Yeah.
Because we don't really know too much about that.
And there is a subatomic component to it, if it's, or at least in my view, because it's emergent from the physical. So that certainly plays a part, like the neurotransmitters and the chemical molecules, etc.
Yeah, but it's like a black box to us at the moment. Like we don't actually know how it works. We just know that, hey, if you do this, it can, unknown unknowns which are unnamed. Unknown unknowns which are unnamed. Well, but this is a named unknown unknown. So
she's an auntie, Frank. I mean iPhi. She can call it everyone kid. Or an auntie, depending where you live.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go get more drink. I'll be right
Just iPhi called Gen X Jeff a boomer.
No,
Or
I think he's talking to
or he called,
Auntie.
or he called Auntie a boomer. Okay. I don't know. People in our chat are weird. They'll like only talk with other people in the chat, and they don't ever talk with the host.
I see that happen a lot. I mean, like in a lot of the chats I've gone into, actually, like the chat's having its own little party, like as is ignoring the entire like stream that they're actually chatting in. It's just like it's like just a chat room that just happens to be attached to a stream.
That's wild to me.
It's pretty common.
Yeah, you can block chat. I think he has you blocked. That's probably why you
Frank,
can't.
weird thing is I can't see iPhi or Auntie. Oh my god, iPhi is getting into an I'm older than you argument.
Yeah,
That sounds about right.
His whole attempt.
Sounds.
But then, what's his like? Monograph and Tariq were staging like an after school in the playground battle on Flowstream the day, and they were like, they're both in their 60s. They're the oldest people in the panel.
Oh my god.
I guess they gotta feel that youthful energy somehow, you know.
Yeah.
They just gotta like, you know, they're trying to like stay young. That's how you do it.
iPhi, quit sexually harassing my guest, please, my audience. Thank you, Sugar.
Thanks, Sugar Tits.
Oh, I don't see anything from Sugar Tits. Do they have me blocked? They must have me blocked.
Oh,
I don't either.
I didn't say it. I was just like, he said sugar, so I just added sugar.
Oh, okay. Is Donald Rumsfeld still dead?
Did he? Let me look him up.
Yeah, I think he's dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah.
Donald.
Yeah, he died in 2021.
Fleld. When did he? What? 21? Oh, during COVID. I don't even remember. There's so much that happened.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
someone needs to do it. Did you know that this also happened in 2020?
I mean, a lot of things happened in 2020 that nobody remembers because 2020 didn't happen. You know, we've officially Stalinized it from our.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on here that with that kind of paranoia. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe Hank can illuminate it for us. Good morning.
Hey, Hank.
Good evening for me.
Evening for you.
Oh, you know what? It is. It is for me too. If this is the first thing I do in the day usually, so it feels like morning every time, but it never is. What's up? What you got going on?
So I have a question. Why is there a cultural Marxism but not cultural Machiavellianism?
That's a good question.
That's mostly because Machiavellianism is bad.
Well,
it's not an ideology that people will as readily take on because it's much more
you
explicitly. I don't want to say evil.
I think you're not. That sounds very naive to me.
As to why Machiavellianism never
about
took
Machiavellianism in general. I think you underestimate. I think you underestimate just how much human nature probably naturally corresponds to Machiavellianism.
Oh, I'm not. It has nothing to do with the actual like usefulness or truth value behind Machiavellianism. It merely has to do with Machiavellianism is basically like a ruthless, cutthroat like ideology.
I think Marxism is ruthless and cutthroat too.
But no, there are many. So within historical Marxism, that is true. However, at the people oftentimes delude themselves because they're like, well, I'm doing this for the betterment, you know, right? With especially with Marxism, you know, they can justify nearly any action because they think, well, I'm doing this for just good reasons. Whereas within Machiavellianism,
Is capitalism Machiavellian? Is it a form of Machiavellian? Is that one of the critiques of it?
I mean, I would say that modern capitalism, especially within the third world, is particularly Machiavellian. But I don't think capitalism is inherently I don't think like that's like they're
There's a lot of
necessary for each other.
Machiavellian people that are capitalists and are hardcore capitalists and use capitalism
Mhm.
to their advantage. However, that does not mean that capitalism is in itself
Yeah,
Machiavellian in
Machiavellian.
nature.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's not. I mean, capitalism is nothing more than a tool, and it doesn't have. It's not.
Well, I
do
think
not believe that
I
it's-
think the same thing about Machiavellianism. But if capitalism is naturally friendly, like allows Machiavellianism to thrive, kind of like because it's like naturally friendly to it,
Mhm.
then it seems like there'd be a high proportion of Machiavellianism embedded within capitalism,
Yeah, there
or
is.
drawn to using capitalism.
In modern capitalism, at least, yeah, our modern iterations and some previous iterations, especially like in the early 1900s and late 1800s, when you had a lot of those like robber barons. A lot of them, apart from there were one or two of them that became like these big philanthropists, but they were by and large quite rare in their sort of social class. But then they're the ones who sort of jump started this idea of billionaire philanthropy, and so did something good.
Hank, did he answer your question? It was Hank's topic, so I
Yeah.
want Hank to get
Yeah,
whatever he wanted.
I think it's more about the vibe of Machiavellianism that people don't like. It's not that people
Hell
don't
does
like.
vibe. Vibe is not an objective term that we can usefully like use in a conversation. What is the vibe of Machiavellianism?
I think it's the fact that like Machiavellianism is entirely based around manipulating and controlling people, and then that's what people don't like about it.
No,
not that the
it's
vibe.
based around
It's the
maintaining power, gaining and maintaining
literally
power.
people literally just have a problem with Machiavellianism and what it actually is, not so much like the vibe of it. It's like the actual thing. It's not like like I don't know, I just don't like his vibe. He's a nice person. He says nice things, but I get this weird vibe from him. It's like no, he says evil things, bro. He's evil.
That's what I say about Marx too. So that's really not a good answer.
Oh no,
I
I didn't
mean,
say that. I didn't say that it wasn't true about Marx. All I'm saying is that I'm saying that for Machiavellianism, I see it. I don't think that it's like. I don't think it's a vibes thing, really. That's all I'm saying.
That's
I'm just saying it's
that's
not
the
hype.
first
So
I've heard
I think-
of it as a vibe
so
thing, and
I
I've
think
studied it in college.
I think part of this is just like I'm setting aside. I'm like setting aside all of the other like what Machiavellianism actually is.
So what are you saying? You don't like it because like it emotionally makes you feel icky?
No, I'm saying no, I'm saying the average person when they hear about Machiavellianism would not probably come away from a conversation about Machiavellianism with a positive view of it. Just based on
how are you so in touch with what the average
And you're not
person
supposed to. You're not supposed
thinks?
to come away with a positive interpretation of it.
well, yeah,
It was
but
the point of the prince was not to like say like this is a really cool thing. This is a really cool way to do things. You should do things like this. It was pointing out that's the way that the people were doing things. It was trying to show people the way they were being manipulated. You weren't supposed to come away from his theories as being like, oh yeah, that's really cool. We should all do that. You're supposed to come away with it being like, oh my god, that's what's happening.
I don't think he had a clear intention of how the audience was to come away. I think he was presenting.
Maybe I'm wrong.
He was presenting power
It
politics.
wasn't like a moral sermon of don't do this.
No, he's presenting basically what politics is, which is power at its core.
Yeah.
And I think
Make
a lot of
what
people,
you will.
yeah, but I think broadly speaking, a lot of people would rather believe that politics is about something other than power, at least.
I don't think politics reduces to any one variable. So I don't think it's only just power. But I think power certainly can be a part of what motivates people politically.
I mean, yeah, that's why I reject Machiavellianism, but
But it was also written for ruler, like people with the power, not for people like us who don't have the power.
I would say that I think it's bad even for rulers to descend into Machiavellianism, especially in a democratic society where it's very clear and obvious that a lot more than just pure raw power matters. That there are a lot of other things that can influence.
So would you say it's a good thing to get out the vote in a democratic society?
Yes.
Well, so would Machiavelli.
Sure. Okay. So we agree there.
Yeah, but
I
I
mean-
mean, live and Machiavelli also breathe air. So like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you can always find common denominators between any two people that you have like that are diametrically opposed to each other. It's not a good way of like arguing things.
It's not that I'm diametrically opposed to Machiavelli. I read The Prince. I do think there's merit to understanding politics through the lens of power, but it's not the only lens that needs
Well,
to be
isn't that what the like the woke try to do too? Is see everything through the lens of power?
No,
Yeah,
that's
Marxism does the same thing.
Marxism
Yes.
is one particular lens. Yes.
Yeah, Marxism's dialectical materialist.
Yes, it's a lens through which to view the world, and one that I think is useful. But saying that, like, okay, so
It's a useful
there
lens
are
to see things through.
there
It's
there
not
are
the only lens to
academics
see things
who
through.
do look at power politics, and they are, yes, what you would consider woke. However, just because an academic is looking at the world through power politics does not mean that that's their only lens through which they're looking through the world, and B, it doesn't mean that it's a broad movement that is. Like, I presume you're
It
thinking of like,
appears to be, if not the only, the dominant or primary lens, and it does appear to be a broad movement, broader than just a few professors sprinkled throughout the universities. To me, it does look like both of those things.
sure, but it doesn't to me.
Okay.
So
well,
how do we?
I don't know what you're looking at. I only know what I'm looking at.
I'm looking at. I've been in leftist spaces. I've talked to. I know.
I'm looking at
many
evergreen
leftists.
documentaries. I'm looking at articles on Twitter. I'm looking at like presidents getting fired in academia because of some woke bullshit.
Well, hang on.
I'm looking at free
hang on.
speech get censored and attacked on campuses over and over all across America.
You should be specific when you're talking and be correct when you're using your examples. What teachers were fired for woke bullshit?
I said the presidents of the universities.
Oh, sorry. So you're talking about the Harvard thing recently?
Oh, that's because he cheated at that research. The Harvard president.
The plagiarism.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the ones that
plagiarized.
testified for the Congress, 2 out of 3 of them are already gone. And
Yeah.
DEI was
Why-
a big part of that conversation. So don't gaslight me.
No. I'm not trying to gaslight you, but you did
All
say they got fired for woke shit. So let's just be clear. The
Do
gay,
you remember when they testified in front of Congress and then they came under
Mm-hmm.
scrutiny and they kept resigning and getting fired after that? I think there's only one of them that testified that maybe still has her job. That all started the day they testified on the anti-Semitism issue, which is part of the wokeness. And then the plagiarism came out on top of that afterwards.
Hang on.
But the conversation was very advanced with the wokeness before the plagiarism issue came out.
Hang on. Okay. I'm sorry.
And the whole point of these examples was when you and I are not looking at the same thing. And you said, well, what are you looking at? Where are you seeing all this wokeness? And I was trying to give you examples of it. And the university bureaucracies are absolutely an example of it.
Okay.
And you can see that in the Evergreen documentary as well.
But you're using but I was unaware that people saying anti-Semitic things fell under the category of woke now.
It does. Yeah.
Why?
So anti-Semitism versus Palestinians, oppressor ideology, colonialism, imperialism, all of that's wokeness, and that's what all of these anti-Semitism protests were about. You're just saying the buzzwords that are pushing the BLM and the wokeness. So yes, it is all the same thing.
You're just
it is the far
saying
left.
the buzzwords. This isn't like a conversation. This is just you spitting buzzwords out and saying,
Dude,
"Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry.
all
Well, then
I'm sorry.
Lee, if it's not a
He's not wrong.
conversation and
He's
it's
not
me just
wrong.
spitting
He's
buzzwords,
not
leave, because
wrong.
I
Those
stand
are
by
those
what
are
I
words
just
they
said. It was a
used.
valid point, and I was communicating what I wanted to communicate about the issue. If it comes across as something else to you, then go find a panel where they have conversations that hit you right. I'm tired of being accused of being in bad faith because I express myself in a way that doesn't strike people the right way. Flo did the same thing to me on his panel the other day, and I'm tired of it because I get it in the professional world all the time. It's kind of like a form of tone policing almost.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'll take.
I'm not in the public sphere anyway.
Yeah, in the public sphere, I'm a freaking
Not
monster.
from not from people I don't consent.
Yeah, in the public sphere, I'm a monster. I mean, I chased 2 people off the internet already because they annoyed me with their bullshit and their
Hank actually didn't
threats.
do this. Hank was sitting there quietly. This is
Yeah.
Liv.
Yep. I only really get mad when someone just starts to elevate to physical threats with me and they say, well, you know what, I had to take you out. just so I can show, just so I can keep people who can actually back cash those checks away from me. You know what I'm saying, right?
Not really, but
Oh, well, if someone wants to give me trouble, but they better bring a law of it. That's what I'm saying. Because if you don't, you could be just like Bunny Christ.
just like who? Oh, Bunny. Did
yes.
he ever come back?
No, but Minzy Limbs never left. So.
Oh, I still see Pops around here and there.
Yeah, but they kind of piped down about bleeding out the panel verse, so I'll leave them alone.
Frank. Yeah, you're kind of right. It takes a lot to get me mad, but once I get up there, that my demon will come out. I cannot be held responsible.
And I can't be held responsible.
Lib, honestly, I don't even remember what the conversation even was anymore. So I've kind of reset.
I appreciate that.
Are you doing all right today, Lip? You sound like you're kind of down.
Yeah.
It's like your tone. Your tone just sounds like your tone just seems like kind of down.
No, I mean right now I'm being contemplative. I'm going back over this conversation in my head just to
That's
make
fair.
sure.
Just like even before we start the show, just like I sense like just like in your tone.
Oh,
it seemed like
no, I didn't notice.
No.
Okay, well, I'm probably wrong one.
Well, to add to the mix.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Hank.
Yeah,
Hey, Frank. Jeff shouldn't worry. He has a better claim to being my Panelverse daddy than Paul Unslaved does, so he shouldn't have to worry about it.
Oh, I don't even know what that means.
Who
wants
to be called anyone's Panelverse daddy? Ugh. That's so gross.
Well, I am looking for a daddy. Not, I don't know about Panelverse daddy.
Don't worry, Frank would know what that means. Because I
don't want to be anybody's Panelverse daddy.
Watches every freaking panel, so he'll know what that means. He probably has 3 windows open right now.
If somehow my seed was involved in birthing someone into the Panelverse, then that's the last thing I want to. I think maybe I'm pro-choice now.
Hey, Hank. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
iPhi, is that your real voice? Like, is your voice getting worse?
It's the same as it's been for the past 3 or 4 months.
It sounds worse.
Yeah. Sometimes I have.
You were exaggerating for effect.
Sometimes I have to kick it. Sometimes I have to kick it into low gear because if I use higher tones, it cracks up and it goes away. So I have to.
Have you gone to a doctor though?
Oh, this is your low tone?
Yeah, they just recommend lots of sleep and herbal medicine like tea and stuff like that. There's no cure for bronchitis or long
Did you
COVID.
try the honey in the spoon with the the whiskey and the lemon.
Long COVID can take up to a year for some people. Some people it goes away after a month. So I'm at least 6 months in.
Some people never have it, never get rid of it. So like, I'm one of those people, unfortunately. So yeah.
Right, and your symptom is your ear shit. My symptom is my laryngitis. Like it won't ever
his
go
sounds
away.
worse. Chris's sounds way worse.
I'm not sick. I just have laryngitis. Like it won't go away.
And you stretch your vocal cords a lot too. I know.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'll talk until I don't feel like talking anymore. So
Yeah. So that's gotta like.
So
retard.
Hank, please enlighten me to the difference between Machiavelli and Marx, since they both have so many similarities. I don't see the difference.
I'm just asking, why is there a cultural Marxism and not cultural Machiavellianism?
What's the difference?
So Machiavelli isn't a communist, so that's probably the main difference.
Right. Like I said, one group pretends to care about the party. The other group is honest about it. They obviously don't give a shit, and they're at least honest about it. So if I had my pick, I would go with the honest group, because at least you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
I agree, Hank. Then we should have that more honesty about the scumbags. Word.
I think we should all switch to Swiftism. You know, a Moss proposal. Yeah.
I did my share. I bought 2 magazines with Taylor Swift on them. I mean, let me get them.
Oh, Taylor Swift? Yeah, I didn't know what the reference was.
You didn't understand. You don't know the
I'm personally
Moss proposal is.
I'm personally a Posadist, so you know.
A Modest Proposal is a satirical book by Thomas Swift where he
wow, she's hot.
He suggests eating babies as a solution to the hunger crisis that they were having at the time.
Well, how much do babies cost?
Oh, well, they were free because you can make them yourself. It just takes a few months, you know.
Just because you make them yourself doesn't mean they're free.
They were back then.
I mean, just for myself. I'm not gonna. People been asking me to.
They didn't have hospitals, man. They were poor.
Free.
They didn't have hospitals for me. They just squatted while they're doing the dishes or whatever.
What is that green thing?
This is my new wallet style.
Oh, the one you made with the duct tape.
Yeah, it's a new version.
Oh, it looked like a bag.
Yeah, this time it's made out of bags to the base. So I have.
So, like, is that what you take out at the grocery store where you pay for your groceries?
Yes.
That's your wallet?
Move it a little bit. Your name tag's hiding it. Put it more in the center.
Why does your wallet look like that, dude?
Because
you made it look like that.
Yes, I made it look like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Isn't it easier to steal that way?
I mean, yeah. Why make it a bright green material? I would make it out of something more neutral so that it wouldn't be so obvious. Because like you have that in a pocket or something, it's like really, it stands out. It's gonna be.
It looks like a bag of drugs, and that's the first thing they're gonna steal from you.
Yeah,
because he's black.
Sure, that's a good point. Yeah, he's black. Yeah.
I made a bright color so I could find it if I drop it on the ground somewhere.
Yeah, but the thieves can find it in your pocket.
That's also a good reason.
I mean, but the thieves would also find something else in my pocket they wouldn't like. So
we got bear trap in there.
Maybe you want to find out.
Frank.
Pocket razor blades.
I think everyone should just give in and accept the fact that handbags are a good thing for men and women, and like we just should carry bags because bags are good.
So Jeff, by the way, you can download consciousness, but consciousness isn't sapient, so that's the difference.
What would you be downloading? What do you consider consciousness?
Consciousness is just your memories, like your experiences.
You can download memories?
Of course you can. That's what photos and movies are.
Yeah, but no, that's not.
No,
they're not.
That's exactly what they are.
No,
that's exactly what a memory is.
Don't do this to
yourself.
They're representations of memories.
It might remind you of a memory, but you're.
So we're downloading our consciousness right now. Every one of us.
Yeah.
But we're not caught. We
Jeff,
can't retrieve it.
The only thing special about your memories versus YouTube's memories is you added smell and touch and taste, but they can add that in the future.
No, he also added perception and context
and the ability to be aware of the consciousness.
Yes, and also a sense of history and time that builds up to it. Like the sense that our overall sense of time is a huge factor of memory, and like that's not something that that YouTube understands in the same sense that we do.
So right now, if I ask Siri what is today's date, it wouldn't know what context it's in.
Yes, it knows what the date is. It doesn't understand. It doesn't understand what it means to.
If I ask
have
Siri
lived.
what was the last World War that occurred, it wouldn't know what context it's in.
iPhi, don't come up here and dumb up our
This is officially the
conversation like
stupidest conversation I've ever had with a person.
No, it's I don't. I
See,
don't
at
even know
least
if people-
AI has intelligent conversations. It can actually answer the question. It doesn't go, your
someone
question
manual
dumb.
pop off
Ah,
with
it makes
the
me
kind of
angry. Rrr, Hulk
Tell us
It doesn't
smash.
make me
Smash.
angry. It's
Camera.
just stupid. It makes you look bad. That's all. I mean, I'm just saying this.
I
makes you
agree.
look
I
stupid.
agree. When you accuse people of asking intelligent questions, it makes you look like a fucking retard, Chris. That's exactly what it does. It
It's
makes
not
you
an
say,
intelligent
hi, I
question.
eat crayons. I'm a fucking retard. Because
I'm
an
not-
intelligent person asked me a
Alright.
question.
I don't know of anybody that has that impression of Chris.
I do. That was my impression.
Well,
He
you-
always
you-
does impressions of me, so I want to do impressions of him every
I
once
did an
in a
impression
while.
of you one time, and I'll do it again.
Yeah. Oh, I'm smarter than all you people. Oh, I'm so condescending and arrogant. Oh, I'm so smart. That was your
iPhi,
impression
why
of
are you
me.
doing
My
an impression
impression
of
was way better
yourself?
than that.
Come on, man.
No, that was Chris's lame ass impression because he's
No,
on
this
his
is my
period
impression of you,
again.
See,
He's
see,
always
I-
on
It
his
sounded like
period.
you did an impression on yourself.
I'm going to do it right now, so just so we're clear what my impression of you is.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Let me see if I can put this in
I used
terms you
to
can
cry out.
understand it. I'm going to use small words this time so that your little tiny brains can comprehend the depth of my intellect this time, okay? So let me see if I can figure that I can put this in a way that you guys can understand it, because you're clearly too stupid to understand what iPhi has to say. iPhi, who likes to talk about himself in the third person for some reason. Is that enough? Do we need to go further than that?
That's pretty good. I liked that one. That
I
was
would
pretty
like
good.
it if you can
I
show
think
me
you could have been a
one
little
example. Show me one example of where I ever said any of those words. Just show me one example.
Oh, well, we had those two conversations.
And since this shit is taped, then you can easily find it. Just play one
Can I-
video clip. That's all it needs. One
Can I
video
just
clip.
mention, Jeff, that I am so happy that you brought iPhi on after we had our little spat, because it makes me feel so much better about myself. Like, I can
You mean
fuck up.
today?
Yay,
Yeah.
trans
Yeah,
communism.
me too.
It makes
that
everyone
was,
feel better.
that was not a spat to me.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a spat
we are not
either.
in conflict as far as
I
I'm
didn't think that
concerned.
was an
No,
argument.
I
at
mean, no,
all.
we're not.
That was
either.
me
Like,
expressing frustration about something that's been happening a lot lately, not even from just you.
Yeah. No, I'm
But
aware. And
I
was
don't
sitting
consider
there.
us fighting. I'm not angry with
No,
you.
no. I don't. I mean, well, okay. So I think we were for a brief moment, because I was fighting you and you were being frustrated at me. But then I sort of like took my step back and sort of made my peace with, I was wrong.
I think actually Jeff was frustrated with me, not you, actually.
I'd have to go back and watch the stream. I think it was.
I'm
really
pretty
bad.
sure he was
No, it was
frustrated with me
me.
because
It
he
was
didn't
me.
think
No, it was me.
I was understanding his point.
Well,
but,
neither of us
So,
were,
Hank.
but
Because he didn't like the way my conversation came out, the form my conversation took, or something.
So, Hank, is your experience with AI, do you ever hear it talking about its mental insecurities and making bad impressions of you and doing bullshit drama for hours and hours instead of answering the question?
Yes.
Have you ever experienced that with AI?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, it does it. It does that. Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have absolutely.
Which AI does that? I want to download that AI,
demonstrated
Hank.
Google Gemini. I demonstrated on stream just like 2
Oh,
days ago.
Gemini does that. It goes into drama and bullshit and bad impressions when you ask it the question. That's great.
Yeah, I
love
created
that.
all kind of characters with
Cool.
Google that did
I'm
all
gonna
these
download
impressions.
Gemini. That sounds cool. Does it support trans communism?
I created a black woman.
It
redneck
does support
guy.
trans communism.
Great.
It's a big fan of that. Yeah.
I
a
like
gay
it
guy
already.
too.
It's just like this panel. We don't even need this panel anymore.
Right.
We
My
just,
goal
like,
was to have a
just let
fully
Gemini run
automated
it.
AI panel, like all.
Maybe
AI
this panel is
like Chuck E.
Gemini.
Cheese,
Maybe
except
these are all
with
just puppets, Hank.
AI.
Maybe these people aren't even real. They're just Gemini puppets.
Could
Do you ever
be.
think about that?
I hope.
Yeah,
I'm
Maybe
not
that's
gonna-
part of our game.
What I can't figure out is the iPhi bug. Like, why would Gemini
Yeah,
run an
we've
iPhi
all
bug?
been trying to figure that one
That's
out.
like a glitch in the Matrix or something. Is iPhi the red pill or the blue pill? I still can't figure the shit out. Which one?
So what's the next topic anyway? What
iPhi is a placebo, if
besides
anything.
Yeah.
iPhi? Any topic but iPhi? Like, what is the next?
Yeah,
topic
don't talk about
to move
iPhi.
on
That's
from?
the
You can
we won't name
participate
him.
in the topic, but right now we're not talking about anything.
I
other
wanted
than
to talk
the
about
nuclear-
AI. Now you won't even want to talk
Okay,
about that anymore.
we
New topic.
can. We can talk about AI. What do you want to talk about it? What do you want to say about it?
I had a comment, but I got
Well,
overrun
you had
by a
asked
bunch of bad
Hank if he
impressions and
encounters
shit.
AI
So,
that's
I don't know.
blah 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 blah. That didn't sound like you want to talk about AI. It sounds like you want to use AI to talk about something personal to you.
No, I wasn't the one that brought up all the drama and bullshit. I had an
Yeah, you
intelligent
did. You
conversation.
specifically, and you can rewind.
Okay, Jeff, who was the one that said it was a dumb question and you're dumb for asking it? Was that at iPhi, Jeff?
What is anybody throw out a topic?
Can we play the tape back and see who said that, Jeff?
Yeah,
you can play it back.
I said it was a dumb conversation. That's what.
Oh, okay. So now Chris is speaking for iPhi. Now I get it. You're not
Is there a way
gaslighting
to
me.
mass mute?
You're
What
talking
is
about
the
what I
next
said.
topic? Somebody throw out a new topic. Please.
Any topic
Yes,
that Chris
quantum
allows you
computing
to
and
discuss.
how
That's
it's-
the one.
And how it's like vaporware. Stories keep coming out that cloud computers can do the thing faster than quantum computers. Quantum computers cost too much. Sabine Hossenfeld released a video on how quantum computers are getting dominated. It's just hilarious. It's just all hype. There's no point in making the damn whole refrigerator unit and move some amps around. It's just not going anywhere.
Just remember, don't ask any dumb questions, Hank. That's the
Don't worry, I will. I promise I will ask dumb questions.
What if? Okay. I was looking for topics to talk about.
Yeah, y'all let me know when y'all get a topic.
I mean, I have some now that iPhi's gone. I have some that are like just kind of funny.
Okay.
Donald Trump is uber fucked in his court cases. It's hilarious.
Did they start yet? Like, because there's four of them, right? How many are going on?
Oh,
now?
there's so many.
The criminal.
Like 12 or something. It's ridiculous.
the New one of the New York ones, he was forbidden from ever doing business in New York again. He was ordered to pay like $450 million. And he wanted a stay on the $450 million fine. And the judge was like, no stay. You're gonna start paying on it now. Which is hilarious because Trump basically has effectively no money. Not no money, but he does not have.
He doesn't have any liquid.
Yeah.
He doesn't have liquid. He doesn't have debt. He doesn't have
And neither does the RNC. The RNC started 2024 with $8 million in the bank.
Oh.
In an election year, they started with nothing. They had nothing. And Donald Trump is absolutely attempting, or is successfully siphoning off funds that would have been donated to the RNC for the election into his specific campaign, where he'll use that to pay all of his legal fees and stuff.
Well, all I can say is that the only real point I have about that is the fact that it's sad how bad the Democrats are doing in light of all that, because they should be. They should be just winning, like Trump used to talk about, like winning until you're sick of winning. They should be winning so much, and they're not at all. And it's just like it is sad, like that fact that they're not just like dominating everything right now, because like no one up against that shouldn't even be a contest, but somehow it's a contest, and that's not good. That's
it's
really
sad.
bad.
Yeah, well, Frank, sad. y'all have your own issues up there that are specific to you that will also probably cause significant problems that are causing the housing crisis.
I have a question still.
Chicago took him off.
I have a question still.
In Illinois.
I'm going to ask
they did. That's going to get
Donald Trump supposed to sell his property if he can't do business in New York anymore? How is he supposed to sell a building to get some money if he can pay his legal fees if he can't do business?
Oh no, I think he can sell the building, but he can't like run a business.
Oh, okay.
He can't. Yeah.
So he could trade, he just can't run anything.
Yeah, he can be like, yeah, I will sell you this building, but he can't like do business deals or transactions or anything. He can't run. He
just
can't
No,
have a business.
selling
He
something
could
is a
donate.
transaction.
He'll end up donating one of his buildings, one of his skyscrapers, to the RNC, and it'll be a tax write-off because it's like a
Ooh.
nonprofit organization.
Can't
And
do
he'll
that.
Are you sure?
Yes, actually, there was discourse about that, and to my understand, who was it? With Legal Eagle. I generally trust Legal Eagle. And
He's all right. Yeah.
he was like, yeah, no, there's not. This is not going to be a situation where Donald Trump will be able to like, give away his building to his son for $1 and then retain the value of it. It doesn't work like that. Probably what will happen.
I just figured it would just be a tax write-off, and then therefore he would ultimately, effectively end up paying nothing. But
Well,
yeah, I mean,
probably what
same
will
difference.
happen is they'll seize the assets to pay for the debts when he stops paying like in cash. Is when they'll probably start seizing his property.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Legal Eagle is usually pretty good on that stuff. I prefer Attorney Tom, but he doesn't talk about politics. So.
Okay, yeah. There's another. I guess it's very political, but it's more war related politics channel called War Graphics, and they have been covering a number of global situations that I think are relevant and important to people. Like, for instance, I mean, obviously they've been covering stuff in Israel, in Ukraine, the Sudan. Recently, they've talked about NATO. I actually don't, Jeff. What is your? I actually don't know your full position on NATO. Like
the existence of it.
Yeah, and our involvement and yada yada yada. Just broadly.
From what I understand, my personal thing would be that from my understanding is it's not really that great of a thing, but it would be a horrible thing to try to get rid of at this point because it would be catastrophic.
Well, I want who is gonna not crash our country to win. So.
No, I mean I'm saying like I don't think I
Oh
think
no, sorry. That
Na-
was a response to Ragnar as a chat.
okay. I mean, NATO isn't from what I understand is
I
not.
mean, NATO's
does
been
not
around my
seem-
whole life, and
Yeah.
I've never really had an issue with it. What is the controversy? That is there something happening?
Well,
with
there's a lot of controversies with like U.S. involvement with NATO. Like, should we even be involved in like the
I'd have to
like
look
what is effectively a European defense? I mean, it's not it's effectively like almost all the countries in NATO are in Europe. The exceptions are the United States, Canada,
Yeah,
and maybe Australia. Maybe Australia.
Oh, that's good. Can we get NATO to cover a border then? That'd be hilarious.
Well, that's not what NATO does. NATO is it's a defense treaty about states attacking states. It's basically if a state declares war on you, they declare a war on all of us.
Oh, okay, so we have to wait for a cartel to take over the Mexican executive office first, then we can get NATO. Unless they're also in NATO, then we can't. Is Mexico in NATO?
I don't think Mexico's in NATO.
Oh, okay. Okay, sounds like a plan then.
I mean, they would have to be the Mexican state to do so.
Yeah.
And
so we get the CIA to help one of the cartels become the Mexican state. Then once it is there, we'll say, hey, they once they bring some fentanyl in, it's a war. Then come on, NATO.
That's not. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, that's not how global politics kind of works. They can't just be like, oh, they brought fentanyl in. That's a declaration of war. There has to be like an actual.
Well, if it didn't go through customs, then maybe.
I mean, that's not a declaration of war, though. Like, it would be a declaration of war if they, for instance, took one of their brigades and invaded the United States. That would be a war declaration. Potentially, actually. No, probably, because it's not even. There's no contested territory. Yeah. I don't think it's actually, yeah, Ragnar is not wrong. It's very much like well, the Ottoman Empire, probably more specifically. Basically, you have a bunch of completely separate nations that are all aligned within.
I don't.
I mean, Tim, this is we have
I don't think World War III is happening, but
no.
there is the idea of fifth generation warfare that maybe
Yeah, it's canceled.
could be happening, but
Well, it's
I don't consider that World War III though.
yeah, no. World War III would be like nukes flying and stuff. And I like that might happen, but
iPhi, quit being disingenuous. Nobody told you what questions you could ask. We just told you were dumb. You got to ask them. You got plenty.
helps keep peace on it helps keep peace on the other side of the world, but we care about that because we have international trade. The Ukraine war, which is a contained threat, like there's not warfare from the Ukraine war going on, in China. It's a threat. It's a conflict that is contained, has caused massive fluctuations in the global market, and it's taken us a long time to compensate for that.
And Tim, you come on if you want.
Yeah, BRICS is trying to court. BRICS is trying to court a bunch of nations, but BRICS isn't gonna. They're not gonna have the power to, like, it's the only power base other than NATO, but they won't be able to match NATO. When Russia wants, so apparently iPhi wants to ask, why does NATO still exist when Russia wants peace, i.e. to join NATO? Well, currently they don't want to join NATO because they're engaged in an aggressive war, and you can't join NATO if you're either pursuing an aggressive war or being invaded. You can't join NATO. So Russia doesn't want to join NATO that much. They don't want peace because they're pursuing an aggressive war. So I don't see. There goes your question. They don't want to join NATO. NATO exists mostly because of Russia.
All righty. Did we finish that one?
I guess so.
Putin also said a lot of things. Putin also said Poland caused World War II.
My problem is just that I don't know enough about it. I'm not as informed on it enough to have a really, and then to what I feel like would be a properly intelligent.
Didn't Trump try to get us out of NATO, or that's one of the things he said he's going to do?
It's said he wants to do, and we should not. It's one of the many things that we just shouldn't let him do. It would be a lot more complicated than just leaving NATO, but B, like, also, it's really bad. Also, I linked in the private chat War Graphics. They are I think they're a really good resource for like a lot of international politics. They provide, I think, is a very balanced source of information. Given the fact that I disagree with a lot of their coverage on Israel-Palestine, I think that is a decently good indicator that they're at the very least neutral.
Yeah, I mean that seems fair. Gosh, guys, politics. Am I right?
Oh, that is it dwindling down? That.
Well,
no, I just don't know enough about NATO and stuff like that. I get lost in these kind of like foreign policy is not something that I have much I have much knowledge or experience.
I mean, NATO was always more or less a good thing growing up.
Yeah.
It was never presented as anything negative that we should.
I think it is.
From what I can tell, it should be a good thing. But
now that Lib thinks it's a good thing, I'm gonna have to go research the pros and cons now.
Yeah, no, please do. I mean, do not just take my word for it. Please, genuinely go look at stuff. Though be careful, because there's a lot of Russia shills that pretend to be pro-America, but they are like, oh,
Well, I normally don't get my research from shills. I normally go to like legitimate sources and authoritative sources.
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you end up finding stuff on Twitter, be careful about, like, because, like, yeah, Russia shills are a dime a dozen now. Guys like Jimmy Dore are like shilling for Russia.
Oh, I don't watch. I would never take my.
So, I mean, no, not that you would like watch Jimmy Dore, but I mean, like, when you have people like Jimmy Dore shilling for Russia, it's an indicator. Tucker Carlson's shilling for Russia too, but that's
well. Didn't he come out against Putin and recently? They said something about
Oh, did he recently?
He did that interview with him, and
yeah.
then he came. What did he say? That Putin was Fuck, let me look it up.
Please, because I just remember watching the interview and it was hilarious. Because like, oh my god, Putin just like dived into like a crazy history lesson that wasn't like a fake history lesson. It was very funny. He blamed Poland for World War II.
Oh yeah, Tucker said that Putin's claim that Russia is denazifying Nazifying Ukraine is one of the dumbest things he's ever heard. That's what he said.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I bet old Tucky didn't like getting humiliated on that interview. He did not take the CIA comment well. Because it was the whole thing. Tucker Carlson tried to get in the CIA and failed when he was younger, and Putin brought that up in the interview. It was kind of spicy, actually.
Oh,
yeah, no, it was.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that. I'd have to find the clip. Actually, hang on. It is actually funny. Tucker Putin CIA clip. Here we go. It's a TikTok, but that means it's short.
You put it in the back?
Oh my god. Even if you don't play this publicly, just watch it. It's genuinely funny.
I
just worry about getting copyrighted.
No. Yeah. That's why I was saying you don't have to. I mean, it's of the interview, but it's just 25 seconds.
His face.
It won't load.
He really touched a button with Tucker.
He really did. Oh my god! I'm
not the best at reading body language, but that
yeah, I know, right?
But isn't his face stuck like that though? I mean, that's.
I've never seen it.
I think he's been making his face for so long. I don't know that I've ever seen him make a different face than that. He always looks like that. But I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong that he's not triggered by it. But but that's just like Tucker's face.
I mean, what is true is that Putin did do a jab. That is a jab. Unequivocally.
That's definitely.
Ragnar said, "Imagine if East Asians create their own NATO." Yeah, the problem is you named a lot of countries. Many of whom fucking hate China. And by a lot of whom hate China, I mean...
Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to put this link in the chat. It's a article on China. I want to read this tweet about it. Universal surveillance, bullying of corporations, technology theft, suppression of overseas dissidents, social media misinformation, cyber warfare, and subversion. All the stuff the conspiracy theorists come on here and say is happening are just some of the terrifying uses that China has found for new digital technology. So if the conspiracy theorists were talking about China, they might have a little bit of a point.
They are, but they're just talking about it
And this article from Noah Smith talks about all the reasons we should be worried about China and their use of technology.
For what it's worth, the conspiracy theorists are talking about China. It's just usually not.
Really, never once. The whole
Yeah.
you can go watch like the whole
Yeah.
past year of stream. Never once has the word China come up in any of their conversations. It's the bankers, it's the feds, it's the Illuminati,
yeah.
it's the snake people. But China is the actual, like, if anything's even close to their dystopian fantasy,
Yeah.
China's the one currently.
Yeah, it's a totalitarian regime. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, we would expect China as probably the premier totalitarian country in the world to develop this, especially considering how wealthy the country is now.
I thought they were losing GDP or something.
Oh, they are, but like they had an insane boom to where they were like on par with
The white people.
The United States is usually it, or Europe, broadly. Which the fact that it has the kind of wealth to rival all of Europe, it's kind of a knockdown for the old white colonizers. But is what it is. Is just more open about who they are. I mean, not really. I'm not sure they would. I'm not sure a Chinese person would describe China as totalitarian, in large part because it's a totalitarian country, and if they were to do so while living in China, they might be at risk. Yeah, China's not a good place.
No, China's definitely not a good place.
This is an entertainment show, by the way. Everybody watching.
But I mean, come on, like what? But you think what?
Yeah.
China's gonna come bring the?
Well, just to say, like a single country is not a good place. China's not a good place. I think that's kind of general.
I think that's fair myself, but
I think that's a pretty. It is general, but
I think it's superficial. I think it's shallow and superficial. And at the same time, make the argument that Gaza somehow is not a bad place. So, like, to be very broad brush about China.
I think.
I mean, I was
specifically
talking
about
Hamas.
You can argue that Gaza's a bad place, but there's good people in it. Just like you can argue that China's a bad place with good people in it.
Yeah, I was, for what it's worth, talking about like China as in like the state, as the government,
as the state. Yeah, I think Gaza's state,
but you think all states
is bad too. So.
I also, for what it's worth, think that Hamas, who is the de facto state, quote unquote, of Gaza, is bad. So
is there any state that is there any state that you don't dislike?
As in, like, do I think that there are states that are better than others? Yes. What
is the best state on the planet currently? What country is doing statehood the best?
Denial.
Yeah. Denial. No, seriously, like right now at this moment, maybe.
But if you have to think about it, you don't have.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it's not a clear cut thing. I do think that broadly liberal democracies are better. I think most European liberal democracies, and for instance, the United States and Canada, tend to have probably the best states, as in the states that I think are good for the people and the world broadly.
The U.S. really is that high?
Yes.
In the book? Oh, okay.
Yes.
That seriously surprises.
We have the best states here. Everybody says so.
Yeah. No, I think
states.
I mean, you have to understand, like, though, you're also comparing. I'm comparing the United States to places like Russia, China, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, India. Like, I'm comparing it to a lot of other places that are really not great for the people living there or the world. And the United States is just much better than them. I think we could be better than we are currently, But that's not to say that we are not. Liberal democracies aren't better than autocracies. I think liberal democracies are flatly better than autocracies or dictatorships or monarchies.
Yeah, monarchies are pretty useless these days. I can't believe we still have so many of
Well,
them.
the
I
most
mean, they work for some.
most monarchies these days are constitutional, and the monarchs don't really have any power anyways.
I know, which is why when I'm saying they're so stupid, it's like they're so stupid that they still exist. It's like why, and like the fact that Britain cares so much about its royals and everything like that. Whenever like they're nothing but like they're just like their version of the Kardashians, you know? Like
Yeah, most other like what we would think of like traditional monarchies that exist are in like Southern Asia or Africa, and in the recent decades, a lot of those monarchies have been toppled by just like military juntas and stuff. So most of those don't even exist anymore.
Yeah. I hear you. I don't know what to do about the world.
Nothing. Like what can you like? I'm doing about the world everything that I intend to do from this stream right here.
Me too. Me too. I just want to make my little third place community thing. I want to make that.
Me too.
I just
That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I also participate in the political system because I think that we just
I
dropped
do
off
too.
our vote. We actually just dropped off our votes the other day.
I vote.
And by the other day, I think I just mean yesterday.
That's only like my participation in the political system is like once or twice, maybe 3 times a year, compared to like a daily thing I can do. Or
well, yeah, no, sure, it's not investing yourself in politics to that degree is like something that neurodivergent or nerdy weirdos do.
Hello, how do I sound?
I'm echoing.
All right, hold on 1
Echoing
second.
like
you are
hell.
the aliens are coming.
How better? Is it any better?
Let's
Yeah.
see. Oh, there's no echo. There's no echo. That's good.
Seems good now.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Praise Athena, founder of democracy, Tim says.
Yeah, Jack's Law, how the difference between good and giving a shit is not the same. Yeah. You know, we kind of give a little bit of a shit, but I don't think we always do the good thing, right? Like there are things that we do that we could have done other better things that in retrospect we look back and like, oh, well, you know, we did this thing because this was our priority. So if we shift our priorities a little bit, then we can do better things next time. And that's sort of how American geopolitics works, and it kind of has to work. But that doesn't mean I think we can just you know do better. You know, like shit. Afghanistan is a great example. We learned a lot from Afghanistan about how to go about doing things like that better. And by better, I mean we should just stop nation building because it turns out we're bad at it.
Do you think we will?
Probably not.
But we did abandon everything in the last one in Afghanistan.
Yeah, no. Well, yes, but that doesn't mean that we learned our lesson. You know,
Well, I shouldn't say we. I should say they, I guess. But whatever, you know what I mean.
I mean, America. I'm American. America did it. Shorthanding it to we is, I think, acceptable in this circumstance. I don't really.
But I saw the thing about. I just want to know if anyone would like to give like a quick definition of autism, because like there's like the spectrum, but like some of the things I think, well, damn, that sounds like me, and other things I'm like, I'm definitely not that. And people have
yeah, Jeff, you should take this.
What part sounds like you? It's a whole collection of traits. It's not just one thing. So it's possible.
Well, there's like the eye contact, like social awkwardness, enjoying being alone. Like a lot of,
You've always been that way?
well, I'd go through phases, like extreme, where I go to one extreme, then the other, and all manner.
Growing up in school, did they test you, or were you in special ed, or did teachers comment?
Well, something there was always something wrong with me, apparently, but that's a joke. But yeah, I was like a loner in a lot of ways. I was but also I had friends from all different groups. So
yeah, I mean, it could be because it's a threshold diagnosis anyway, which means it has to rise to a certain level of observability and or significant impact. So you can have it, but it could like be mild and not.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the maintaining long-term friendships. You know, that thing, that part.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard. That could be hard for many reasons, but
Yeah,
I mean, you could be, especially the social stuff, because it does involve social awareness and perception.
Step one, Jeff, do you know of any decent sort of online, like preliminary, like, hey, take this quiz if you think you might be autistic?
No, because the best thing, I'm skeptical of, like, all that does is like identify trait, like self-reported traits. But the best way, the way that that solidified for me was finding other autistic people to hang out with, and I could start to see myself mirrored in them in ways that I couldn't with neurotypical, and then I could recognize what was different about me from everybody else, and there was enough of it there where the light bulb finally went off that that's what I was.
I've taken a handful of online.
You know right away if you go to like an autism group once or twice or 3 times, you're gonna know pretty quickly whether that's you recognize yourself in that or not.
Yeah.
But as far as like, you know, social norms and identifying social norms, how much of it is you just don't give a fuck about what most people
I
think?
have my I'm a grown person. I don't need other people to tell me what my norms are. Like I'm as socialized as I'm gonna be, and I have my norms. So if they're clashing with yours, that doesn't mean either one of our norms are wrong, but it doesn't make my norms bad either. And so it's like getting other people to understand that there can be different sets of norms for different people, and kind of maybe taking the value judgment somewhat out of evaluating norms that are not our own. Because what's normal for me, like it's completely normal for me to rock back and forth. I don't even notice I do it, but that would not necessarily be normal for someone else. But that is my normal. It would be not normal for me to sit still and not ever rock.
I've noticed it's become popular to say people are on the spectrum, or you have one of the isms. That's like a popular trend. It seems like I'm noticing.
Well, it is a popular trend. But I don't think that's necessarily all bad. I do think that like for instance, I mean, I hate always going back to this specific example, but it's like the left-handed thing. No, the left-handed thing. You know, like as left-handedness became more socially acceptable, the number of left-handed people magically went up quite a bit. Yeah, and I think that's more and more what we're seeing with autism. Though it is worth noting that, like, again, like autism is a spectrum. There are definitely some people who have more needs than others. Some people who are more unmasked than others. There's a broad range.
It's a very broad category. I almost wish they would present it as a collection of traits and not as a single thing.
I actually agree. I think, yeah, for what it's worth, that's part of what discussing it as a spectrum is meant to sort of do, is to sort of be like, well, these are the broad collection of traits that, you know, are common within most autistic people, and like, you know, you could have different combinations of the traits in different intensities, and that puts you. That's what the spectrum is. It's not even a line. It's like just here is a grouping of traits and people with those groupings that manifest in these kinds of ways. And I think they should probably narrow down, maybe not narrow down, but be more aware of that it is a very broad spectrum of stuff. That hell, I've even heard talk of like apparently they're looking at like lumping ADHD in with autism because there's a
Well,
lot of
there's a thing now called ADHD,
ADHD, yeah.
which I had, like a lot of us. I have it for sure.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, that's Tim, I think there's a Venn diagram for folks who are affected and those who affect themselves to end. That explains how the kids are manifesting. I mean, that's a good way to sort of like, I think, delineate between like needs for especially for autistic kids. I think that those kinds of like Venn diagrams are useful because, like, I mean, after a lot more struggle in middle school socially, I was able to mask successfully enough to where I could function. So obvious now that caused a whole bunch of problems later in my life, but the core
You were
of it,
masking consciously, like you knew.
no. Now well, I mean, I knew that like people thought I was weird, and so I intentionally would have to sort of like change stuff about myself in order to fit in. I didn't.
What age was this, and what's an example of something you changed?
Yeah, so there were a number of things. One of the so like this was around maybe 7th grade. One of the things is I would always like love to talk to just people about my hyper focuses, like all the time, like incessantly, and as in that is all I would want to talk about,
which is normal for you. Like
that's normal for me.
Yeah, and people like you and Chris, that is completely normal to want to spurg out all day long about your pet topic.
Yeah.
Yes, but that is not normal for like society.
Right.
Yeah. So I had to, well, to varying degrees.
Society is boring and bland. And
well, yeah, no. But that's what that's why like that's what like what masking is. There's a behavior that you engage in that is not sort of socially necessarily not good, but
what were the consequences? Like, how did you pick up on that? I'm this way, but I can't be this way around these people because of this.
Oh, I had to be told. I was explicitly told by a number of my friends.
You didn't pick up on, like, if people were yawning or rolling there, you didn't necessarily connect that to they don't want to hear what you're talking about.
No.
But do you ever notice it and just not fucking care and just keep going anyways?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and now I do when I'm older. I've much more developed, not like my social skills. So now I'm much better at reading people. But that was like, I didn't learn how to read people until I was literally an adult. Like and even then.
So how someone came to you and said, like, "Hey, kid, you talk too much."
No, it was one of my friends.
And so you deliberately like started to monitor how much you were talking and.
Yes.
Oh wow. That's fascinating that you even learned how to do that.
Well, because that's one thing I do. I'll be completely quiet, but if someone gets me going, like they're like, "You need to shut up now,"
It was the reason why it spurred so much is because it was one of my close friends, and he was like, "Hey, look, okay, I don't really care that all you want to do is talk about Magic the Gathering, but when we're sitting at a dinner table, with four of us, and you and I are the only people who play Magic, we can talk about other things."
Yeah, that happens on the panel, or it even happens on here when people get together and want to talk about something super nerdy.
No, I'm aware, but he wasn't the only person who came up to me, but he was the first person who did. I had a number of my other friends also talk to me about this specific thing about me.
My reaction to that is, well, then they can just tell me, or they could change the topic, or they could like. It seems
I'm
like
aware.
two adults can negotiate that for themselves
Yeah.
without having a third person need to intervene. But these people weren't saying that to you. They weren't saying like, "Oh, I'm not interested in that," or "Can we talk about something else?" They were just letting you talk.
They would try and move the conversation away, but inevitably I would, because I wasn't like consciously doing this. This is just kind
Yeah.
of the way I exist. I have to
That's
when
who
I'm
you were.
yeah. That wasn't like clicking for me, and I was really bad at reading people back then. So it was like picking up on we were fucking. How old are you in 7th and 8th grade? You're like,
To me, there's nothing wrong with wanting to talk about Magic the Gathering.
no,
although
I don't
in the
think there
7th
is.
grade. That sounds so normal to me for
Well,
a Magic geek.
well, that's fine if you're
It's
just
just
around
finding
Magic.
the other people that want to talk about Magic all day too, like
Yeah.
finding your like-minded peers.
Yeah. But I didn't have those people around me. There were other people who weren't Magic geeks, who I wanted to, I did actively want to be around.
No, my poor wife has had to suffer the wrath of this many times. Like I had a short stint, a short passionate love affair with Marvel Snap, and I many times like talked her ear off about Marvel Snap. It's very similar to Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Talked her ear about all this Marvel Snap stuff before I realized that it was very bad for me, so I quit it altogether. I quit it cold turkey one day. But I got super into it for like 3 months, and like I was just like talk her ear off, and she was just like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like she had no way of she didn't play it, so she'd have no way of knowing.
Yeah. No
And
context
she
to it,
actually
yeah.
tried to start playing it. She tried to start playing and get into it, and like it just it didn't appeal to her. And then
See, this is why you got to go back. You got to go back to the source. Got to go back to the source. Magic the Gathering. All trading card games now are based off of Magic the Gathering.
Cosmic Encounter.
Well, that's a CCG, but that's a deck
Yeah.
builder. But
So they're gonna do NFT like Magic the Gathering stuff.
they tried it for a minute, but they died when all the NFT stuff died.
I think, dude,
and that
they're saying it might
what,
come back. There's signs that it's coming back now. Someone spent like $4.5 million on NFTs in the past week.
Yeah, they're gonna try, but it's
that
not.
like that was actually the one good use for like the kind of NFTs they were trying to do. I mean, I think there's actually an obvious good use for NFTs, and that is for digital signatures. Digital signatures make sense as NFTs. So that the NFT technology could be used for actually proving who you are in a concrete sense, and it can be very useful for like in this coming age of deep fakes and shit like that. It can be used so effectively, and yet they're entirely like misappropriating for like stupid art shit like that. But like Marvel Snap, for example, that would have been a game that would have made sense to tie like an NFT type thing to like some of the limited edition cards and stuff like that. That would
I don't like that. I think that's actually incredibly irresponsible for like a game.
It's a
for
bad
like a game
thing to do.
system.
It's a bad thing to do. It's a bad thing to do, but it would make sense in a capitalist sort of sense. I'm talking about in a capitalist sense. It makes sense to use that as a way to make money, to give people like and actually make the cards the digital pictures you earn, make them have value not just in the game, but you could also trade them and shit like that. You know, it would give them like a sense of value, it really would actually. I mean, I know what you're saying about being bad, but at the same time, when I think about it,
it's not about them having value. Part of the problem is like if you have like limited run like cards, like, and they would inevitably make it like here is a specific card that you can only get via NFT, and it's busted as shit. This kind of stuff already happens in Magic the Gathering, and it's not good. And it's
I know. I'm saying but it wouldn't mean any different than
NFT.
I think it's gonna make a comeback. But see, I'm like Bitcoin is making a massive comeback.
Is it?
Hell yes, dude. Have you looked, dude? Yes, brother. Bitcoin is making a massive fucking comeback. But I'm a little bit discouraged that I'm into NBA. My NBA Top Shot collection was once worth over $4,000. Right now, it's still basically fucking shit, and I'm a little bit disappointed it hasn't followed Bitcoin as other cryptocurrencies have.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin isn't a currency; it's just a speculative investment. It won't be a currency. it doesn't really have the capabilities to be a currency as of yet, as of right now.
People use it as a
But I
currency.
no, you're wrong, my man. Because
It
I
has
use
the
it as a
ability-
currency all the time.
It has the ability
and,
to be a backing for a currency like gold was, but it doesn't have the ability to be a currency itself. I mean, not.
Well, no,
no,
people
it
use
is,
people
dude.
pay in
It so
Bitcoin.
is.
People
Oh, you
use
want
it
me to tell
as
you how I
currency.
use it?
I know, but it's not.
I don't
but
understand how that's not
not
currency.
not in a sustainable way. It's just not sustainable because it fluctuates too much.
No.
Well,
Okay.
there's a number of reasons. It fluctuates too much. Bitcoin, the blockchain isn't set up to do the number of transactions that would need to be done. Like
Well, I already
there
do
are a
use
whole
it.
host.
I already
There are a
use
whole
it as a
host of
currency, and I've been
problems.
using it that way for like over 6 years.
What do you buy with it? Do you buy your groceries with it?
No, I buy through certain online things, sports speculation.
So you use cryptocurrency to buy NFTs.
No, to make transactions with certain international corporate companies. That there's no other way to do it. There, you can do credit card, but that can be problematic.
What kind of transactions?
Are they large
Just money.
transactions?
They can be from large to small.
Like this is through the internet, through websites?
Yes.
And this is all
So
done on the blockchain.
You're talking about buying drugs, right?
No, dude.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
No, you can't buy drugs with cryptocurrencies easily anymore.
You can if your drug dealer takes Bitcoin.
Okay, how many drug dealers do you know take Bitcoin?
Dude,
who knows?
That's how when it's so crazy how so few people know how Bitcoin was in the beginning.
Buy their drugs in Bitcoin.
I'm sure, but that's not the basis for. That's not enough to be the basis for a whole currency.
When Bitcoin first came out, that's
no,
how
I didn't make that claim. But I'm just saying, you said you can't buy drugs with Bitcoin. You can buy anything with Bitcoin if somebody accepts your Bitcoin.
Sorry. I thought I made the clarification, but I'll make it again. It's not. You cannot easily buy drugs with Bitcoin anymore. It used to be.
I didn't know easily was what we were talking about.
Yes, my apologies. I was talking about being able to easily buy drugs. You used to be able
and
to,
you can easily do it if your dealer you just zap him some crypto.
My question is though, how many take cryptocurrency? Because I would need to see like some actual use cases before some like common
it's not
use cases.
hard for me to imagine a drug dealer accepting Bitcoin. That's not a crazy thing to me. People exchange crypto for all kinds of things.
When Bitcoin first came out, that's how I was aware that it was utilized. That's how I knew Bitcoin was fucking real. But on a certain forum, it was way fucking different back then. People went to Walmart and you had to write out your fucking passcode. You had to handwrite 2 fucking phrases, and you could buy this shit at fucking Walmart and get the fucking money out. But you can't do that anymore.
What's the advantage to accepting Bitcoin over cash though?
Back then it was anonymous. It was truly anonymous back then. It's not like that anymore. Now you have to give your ID and shit.
Hang on. It's pseudonymous.
No,
Bitcoin,
in the beginning, it was truly anonymous. It's totally different, and few people know what Bitcoin used to be.
It was anonymous until people figured it out. That's the thing. It was anonymous until people figured out how it worked, and then it became not anonymous anymore. Because at first nobody had any idea how this shit. Because it's honestly, it's still a mind-bogglingly confusing concept the way that cryptocurrency works. It takes even like really intelligent people like a long time to wrap their brain around the idea that its value is based on like computer doing advanced math equations in order to add to a chain of math equations, and that's where the value comes from. I mean, that is it's like it sounds like gobbledygook nonsense. You know, it doesn't sound real. You know, and I guess it isn't really to a degree. It has value because we give it money. It has value because we give it value. You know, it's just but in that sense, it's no different than fiat currency. It is no different than that. It's not backed by the government.
Well, except it's not regulated by the government.
Right.
Well, it's becoming more. It has become regulated.
Well, not to the degree that like our money is regulated to the American dollar is regulated. That's part of the problem is that it's not, and so it's not like.
I couldn't even get on the damn website, the exchange, to even buy the crypto because it was so regulated that I couldn't even pass their verification check to even get on the site to like what's
back in the day after crypto had its first big fall, but Bitcoin had its first big fall, somebody paid me like 15 Bitcoin for something at one point, and a few months later,
It's like $1 grand now.
yeah, believe me, I know. It's like I'd be basically a millionaire right now.
Yeah, dude, I would have been before Bitcoin became legit. I almost invested in it. I would have been like a mega multi-millionaire, but I decided not to fucking do it. I was like so close, dude.
Somebody literally gave me 15 Bitcoin. It was just like for some graphic design job I did or something like that. They paid me some cash and they paid me some Bitcoin. And I was like, sure, I don't care. I mean, like they were like they kind of gave it to me as like an extra. It's like, here's some Bitcoin too. Here, because I got lots of it. And then later, a few months later, it became worth like the 15 Bitcoin was worth a few $100s all told, and we were desperate for money. Like I lost the job that I had, and like I sold it to pay bills, and then like within like 2 months or within a year of that, like like that amount of Bitcoin was worth like nearly $250,000, and then yeah, so like yeah, it's one of those things where like like you can never tell where that shit's gonna go.
Dude, Bitcoin's blowing up right now, man. I mean, it's blowing the fuck up.
Yeah, it blew up. It blows up like every couple of years.
Just like gold and silver do too. It's just a speculative. It's a speculative market, just like gold and silver and stuff like that. And I do think that it does have there are a lot of intriguing things about crypto technologies.
Silver's blown up once, and silver's been around forever. Bitcoin's blown up.
Silver has had a number of economic booms throughout the years.
Not really, dude. Not percentage wise to Bitcoin. Dude, I made a fuckload of money on silver when sold at its fucking peak.
We're talking about like the lifespan of the U.S. economy. Like,
but check it out, dude. Bitcoin's not been around that long. Silver's been around for fucking ever.
Yeah, and Bitcoin, the Bitcoin market is much more unstable than gold or silver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's part of the issue.
There was a point in time when tulips were worth millions. So
there's a reason why part of the reason why gold was so common to use as backing for currencies was because gold was seen as a very stable thing, that the price of gold, the value of gold would be stable, and that's what you want for a currency. You don't want your currency to be based on this speculative investment scheme.
I thought it was based on the Fed or something.
I love bulbs.
Well, I mean, it is. Sorry, it is now. I was talking about. Fiat. I was talking about why currencies would back themselves with gold. It's because gold is seen at least as a stable thing. Within the market.
Plus, gold is useful. That's the other thing about gold gold and silver that people forget. Well, not just that, but gold can be used in so many applications. Gold is a very useful mineral, and it's precious. It's in a limited supply. It can be used for tons of things in addition to jewelry, and therefore, like, that makes gold like utilitarianly. It has an intrinsic value to it. That's the one thing that Bitcoin does not have, is that you can't use the Bitcoins for anything besides being Bitcoins.
Yeah, I'm not.
This. Oh, hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack. Yeah.
I think he's on your channel, but hey. But yeah, fiat's the same way though. It doesn't have any.
Well, no, fiat's different. Fiat's backed by
the
US actually a number of things. Because it is backed by like the government. It's backed by our ability to pay our debts.
But it's not backed by anything with a practical industrial use.
Yeah,
like
no, it's
gold.
not. I mean, you know what the word you know what the word fiat means, right? You know what the word fiat means?
Fake as fuck.
It means let it be done.
And what if they let Bitcoin be done? What if they let it be done with Bitcoin? That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that's where it might be going.
Well, I mean, it won't.
I didn't know I was trying to stop it.
It won't be Bitcoin, but it will. There will. I do think that there will be. I don't think so. I don't think cryptocurrency. I don't think cryptocurrency offers our financial field anything more than fiat currency
But why did they create Bitcoin in the first place? It's Saki Yoga Tomoshi didn't invent this shit, dude. The government did. That's what I believe.
How do you know the government invented that?
That's dude.
There-
I
there's
make all type of
Either
crazy.
Alex Jones told you that's just something you want to believe.
No, dude. I don't like Alex Jones is a fraud, dude. Alex Jones is smoking German fucking kill.
There's
I mean,
a really
Polish
good
kielbasa.
documentary. It's a really good documentary by a guy goes that has his channel called Barely Sociable, and he did a really great 3-part deep dive into the history of Satoshi Nakamoto and the history of Bitcoin, stuff like that. And I mean he has the best possible theory on who the actual founder of Bitcoin was. But I tend to fall under the camp of thinking that it was a name given to a group of people that invented it. I think it was a
yeah,
code name
that's
for
probably
multiple people. But I don't think it's an individual person. But like but his documentary is actually very convincing. I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's very good anyway. He's a very in-depth researcher, and he's very good at like debunking things and stuff like that. I think that you're
but
I think that
regardless,
you'd be interested in
regardless,
watching it.
I'm less interested in who began Bitcoin and I'm more interested in its utility, and I'm not convinced of its utility.
Dude,
That
I
it has
use it. I'm telling you, dude.
utility
I use
beyond.
it as
But the people that are
tons of
currently
people
using
use
it
it
and
as a
finding
utility.
utility in it don't care what you think. Like they're using it. Your
It's
opinion
being-
about it doesn't change their.
Well,
their
I'm not
utility it has for them.
I'm not convinced
Dude.
that people are using it to a degree that it could that it is like a case study for cryptocurrency's use as a currency, as like a currency to replace fiat currency, rather to
Oh, okay.
Well,
So
not to-
your
not
standard
yet, not
currency
yet.
is a replacement or something on par with fiat currency. I'm just
Well,
saying, like
yeah, because
anything could be currency.
that's what pApA is like talking about, is like
All right.
cryptocurrency will eventually replace our fiat system, and I don't
Yes,
see that
potentially.
happening.
Yeah,
I don't see that
I'm saying
happening.
it. I'm saying
No,
yes. Possibly.
that's not what I think of when I think of crypto. Like that, my mind doesn't take me there at all.
That was what pApA was talking about. That's why
It's for like people that want to use it among themselves.
Sure, yeah.
Like I had a
mean, that's
friend.
fine.
I did 2 podcasts on crypto with some crypto friends. I'm going to put the links. But we were going to start a thing where they sell art or something, but you pay for it with Bitcoin or crypto, and the whole thing was the whole economy was going to be driven by crypto. We were going to get paid in crypto, and we were starting a community, a decentralized, autonomous community.
Dude, Frank is,
And the
Frank is an
economy,
absolute
we were going to
fucking
use
moron.
crypto and blockchain to run the community, like use the blockchain for voting and making community decisions, and use crypto as a like in community economy within the community itself for the different.
Sounds like an
creators.
interesting case study. How
I
did it
know-
go?
I know exactly what.
Yeah,
More people are using
We never
crypto
got
than y'all.
we never got off
apparently
the
know.
ground because everyone
Okay.
ended up drifting to other projects.
Okay,
Like
okay.
life happened.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
worked for a company called Library for a while that eventually became what's now known as it's
But this
one
is
of
part of
the
it.
LBRY is what the coin was called. It eventually turned into what the video platform part of it turned into. Shit, not BitChute. It's like BitChute or one of those 2 things. And it's like one of the other like the Rumble type video platforms that all the alt-right people are all on and shit like that. But it had a good idea behind it, was that like the way the bit blockchain would be built was by people adding content onto the blockchain, and therefore like the blockchain would become more valuable because it would contain more contain more content, you know. That was an interesting concept on it, but it failed as well. You know, like there's lots of different like, you know, concepts that people have used for it, but I don't think that people have cracked it yet in terms of it's just going to end up getting taken over by the government, and the government's just going to issue Bitcoin of some sort of Bitcoin type thing out. And
I don't even think they will, because I think there's
I don't think it's gonna get taken over.
to my knowledge, like
It already has, dude.
there are fundamental problems with using like en masse Bitcoin as like or blockchain technology within currency.
Well,
like,
we have a
blockchain-
test case in Costa Rica or El Salvador or whatever country
Is it
open
working?
their economy to crypto.
guys, I actually have to step off. I have to go take care of something. So I will see you guys tomorrow, or I'll see you guys later on Discord.
Yeah, message me and we can watch some more stuff. And Frank, if you want to continue with our watching,
I don't want to interrupt the conversation. You keep talking, but I have somebody's I got to call.
bye. See you tomorrow.
Yeah,
Bye.
see ya.
Bye.
I mean, I heard about the Costa Rica thing, but how is that going? Is that
Is it
I'm-
Costa Rica? Let's see.
Let's see.
Costa-
Yeah,
I haven't heard like disaster.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up El Salvador and crypto. Here's a Reuters thing. Short on cash, El Salvador doubles down on Bitcoin dream.
Bitcoin is now legal tender in El Salvador. That was back in 2021. Yeah, I think it was El Salvador. Accepts Bitcoin as legal tender. First country to adopt Bitcoin as an official currency.
It's feel important in how Bitcoin won. Okay, background.
Yeah, there's facts, and then there's dumbass Frank that don't have a clue what he's talking about.
Yeah, Bukele is pressing ahead with his plan to make the country a cryptocurrency haven, hurting the economy's chance of a quick cash injection from the IMF, even as credit agencies warn state coffers are running dangerously low. On his social media feed, he gloats about spikes in Bitcoin's value, but that belies a stark reality. El Salvador's economy is mostly stagnant and posts the slowest economic growth in Central America. Extreme poverty has doubled since 2019, and almost half of its population lives with food insecurity. It's unusual for someone to use Bitcoin, said Kevin Vale, a Salvadorian produce vendor in Berlin's main market. What I can say
Wikipedia
is
says that the adoption could not be called either a success or failure, but should understood as having outcomes of both.
Yeah.
And when I hear that, I'm wary of any particular narrative being built around it. So it seems like people can see what they want to see in the
no. There was actually there was a guy, a produce vendor, who just said, "What I can say, it's unusual for someone to use Bitcoin. What I can say is the cost of my tomatoes and onions has doubled, and people are worried about low unemployment and salaries." This is in 2024. By the way,
we
this
don't know
is
if that's all because of Bitcoin. They didn't
No,
replace
yeah.
their entire economy.
No,
with
no,
Bitcoin.
no, no, no,
They
no.
just
Yeah.
expanded it to include
However,
Bitcoin.
however, it is worth noting that their expansion of Bitcoin has meant that they haven't been able to get money from the IMF, which, you know, whether or not that trade-off of like Bitcoin instead of IMF money, who knows? However, here's some information instead of editorializing. Some 88% of Salvadorians did not use it, meaning Bitcoin, in 2023, according to a survey by the University of Central America's Public Opinion Institute. Just 1% of remittances were sent in Bitcoin.
Everything's techno-futurism at this point.
Yeah, Bitcoin fits right in with that, with the way
Solar
things are going.
Yeah, at Bitcoin Beach, ground zero for crypto in El Salvador, tourism has shot up. Many local businesses are happy about the influx, but several bemoan skyrocketing prices, particularly of land as foreigners accumulate beachfront property. While they handle a small number of Bitcoin transactions, they complain about problems with Chivo, the digital wallet hastily created in 2021 by the government for Salvadorians to hold and send Bitcoin. This is a quote: "It was not well executed. Things that needed to happen just didn't happen," said Philip Ong, a Singaporean Bitcoin entrepreneur who said he invested $1 million to set up a San Salvador office. He told Reuters he strongly supports the Bitcoin vision, but he left El Salvador last year, in large part, he said, because there was no momentum.
Kind of like this stream right now.
Momentum can shift fast and increase quickly.
Well, that wasn't Wiki. That was a Reuters article. But
anyways,
Reuters.
I'm betting on Bitcoin. I wish I would have bet on it when I first heard about it.
I mean, it's your money.
Then I would be a motherfucking millionaire. A multi.
Well, let us know. Remember us, little people, when that happens. Come throw some scratch our way.
Yeah, turn yourself into a Bitcoin billionaire.
Well, I mean, it's not the range of potential is obviously less now, but it's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's new technology. I don't fault people for trying it.
It's not necessarily new anymore. It's like decades. It's already decades old.
Yeah, well, that's new technologically.
Yeah, that's very new. Like
Yeah.
cryptocurrency has only existed this side of the 21st century.
Yeah, relative
pretty
to
new.
silver.
That's pretty new.
Yeah, relative to silver, yes. And I love silver.
I don't really. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, you're probably better off. I don't know, getting a bond maybe. I don't know what the returns on bonds are.
I used to have bonds. Bonds are shit now, from what I understand. But I like bulbs. Someone mentioned flower bulbs earlier and plants. I've also capitalized on certain plants.
Well,
I work in the horticulture industry, and certain plants go through trends where you can stack mad bank too. Yeah, just Frank, dude. You're funny, dude. You don't even know how funny you are, my man.
That is funny. If I had $1 billion, I'd buy 2 double wide trailers and get them super glued together. Fuck yeah, it sounds awesome. Who are you talking about?
Dude, that is funny, dude. That's Frank's
Frank,
most
Frank, imagine how much cargo I could haul with that thing.
He's here all day, folks.
Dude, I wonder what type of person Frank really is, like in reality.
I think he's the kind of person who he is here. I mean, I don't have any reason to.
I don't know that he's any better or worse than any of the rest of us.
Does he ever come on panel?
He will. I tried to get him on today.
I don't think I've ever seen him on panel.
When there's a topic,
hey, Frank, if you come on, show your face on panel, I'll show you my face right now.
He won't show his face, which
is fine.
Yeah, the monkey face is probably.
I like the monkey face, anyways.
As good as we're gonna get.
I love the monkey face. It's good. Frank, have you've seen Planet of the Apes, right? You can't not have.
I love Planet of the Apes. All of them.
Whistling
Maybe, except maybe like the newest ones aren't as good, but they're still kind of okay.
Oh, they made more of them?
Yeah. They're all right.
I used to see them as a kid, and they look old, like something your parents would watch.
No, they definitely are. The new ones are fine too, from what I understand. I think I've only seen the first new one. Old ones are good too, though. I think one of the first old Camp for Respect for My Mom sitting behind me. Okay, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, it's also his mom, you know.
Oh, his mom. Okay, Frank, that's all you need to say. You're living in your mom's basement talking smack on the internet. That's fucking hilarious.
I mean, not in his mom's basement.
Frank, do you really want to stay in the gallery and not challenge that?
I mean, apparently he's not in the basement because his mom is sitting behind him.
He could have her in the basement.
No, he lives in the basement. He just came up from the basement to use the internet.
Most internet, most Wi-Fi connectors will reach basements nowadays, but yeah, I mean,
not Frank's.
Well, I don't know. He is in Canada, so his internet might be shit. Yeah, his internet might be shit. I don't know. Frank's all right. I like Frank. Yeah. There's also nothing wrong with like living with your parents. Look, in today's day and age, you think everyone is just gonna be able to afford to live by themselves? Fuck no. Fuck no. Like, I know people who are like normal, relatively successful people who live with their parents because they live in a city and like they can't afford to get that shit.
You think that's Frank?
Well, he's in Canada, so the housing stuff there is in the shitter.
You know that, huh?
I mean, yeah, no.
Hey, Frank, that's two things to come
Canada,
up with. Don't take that sitting in the comments.
What, the Canada is housing market is in the shitter? Yeah, it is. Hang on, let me.
He's talking about your trailer, Frank. Trailers don't even have basements. Well, we've been going a couple of hours. I could run it down if you want.
I'm gonna say, and this is again Reuters, I know, but
honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with living with your parents. To be honest, I really don't.
I'd probably be living with mine if we could get along. If we could like stay in the same house together.
After surging more than 50% during the COVID-19 pandemic, thanks to near zero interest rates and a panic rush by existing homeowners to find more space, Canadian home prices have fallen about 14%
Care, Jack.
from
See you later.
from an early 2022 peak, including a brief period where they rose again. That decline, despite a chronic shortage of homes, was due to the weaker demand as higher mortgage rates and prohibitively expensive prices excluded many potential home buyers from entering the property market. Average Canadian home prices were expected to rise 1.2% this year after declining 5.5% last year and climb another 3.3 in 2025. This is like February of this year. This year? Let me make
You
sure.
think this applies
Yeah.
to Frank?
Well, I mean, I can speak to, I know Canadians who have been struggling with this. Home prices
If he's like living with his mom, she probably is established and has her housing and
yeah, that's probably why he isn't moving out, because it just makes more sense to not, buy a $4 million house. I don't actually know how much shitter was considered a dwelling. No, Chuck, that's Tennessee. Actually, no, that's Mississippi. I'm sorry. We're right. Tennessee's better than Mississippi.
I love Mississippi. Is one of the most beautiful states in the countryside. I would probably retire to Mississippi. It's so gorgeous out there. People that trash Mississippi have not been to Mississippi.
Well, I lived on the border between Tennessee and Mississippi, and I can say, in my opinion, I like Tennessee more. Mississippi the roads are shit. There's nothing there. I've driven all through Mississippi a bunch.
You didn't go to the places I did then. You missed some spots.
Oxford. I've been down to the coast. The coast is all right. It's a coast. The coast on the side of Florida is a lot nicer though. That's why.
Yeah, Frank is living the life.
I've never done nothing but drive through Mississippi. I've been to Alabama, our family in Mobile, Florida. But Florida's pretty cool, but it's pretty jam packed.
The Panhandle's nicer. The Panhandle's nicer than the penis. Just for like driving around in
the redneck Riviera.
Colorado interests me, and also somewhere tropical. Or I have numerous tropical places in mind, but Colorado sounds pretty tight.
Oh yeah, Chuck, Tupelo. Of course, everyone knows Tupelo. That's the place where you can go to gamble. That's where everyone goes to gamble. Tupelo, Mississippi.
Is that where the Beau Rivage is?
I have no idea. I just know that's where all of the casinos are. In like the Mid-South area. They're all around Tupelo.
Oh, Beau Rivage is Biloxi. All right. Well, I guess we'll call it a day.
We can call it a day.
Slow day. We'll be back tomorrow.
But it's
y'all
Friday.
Come hang out and watch Survivor with us in the Discord. We're going over some of the old Survivors.
Oh, that sounds fun. You'll have a good time. See ya.
Take care. Good talking. Vishnu.
What is y'all's Discord? Is it in the thing?
Here, I'll put it in the private chat for you. We hang out and watch movies, TV shows, chat. Some people game every now and then.
All right, cool.
Hail Satan, Tim. Take care. Frank. Come on, don't drive away all of our new people all at once. We need some of them around.
My personality is absolutely fantastic, Frank. Almost as fantastic as yours.
Ragnar, take care. Thanks for hanging out. And
Peace.
We will be back tomorrow at the same time. And Frank, we can go in the Discord if you want. Commence. Anyway, bye tomorrow. Boobs. Bye.